Have you found something questionable on your kid's device or on the family computer and you need to set up some sort of parental controls like now, but you don't know how? Stay tuned. I'm here to help. Hey guys, welcome to Shepherd at Home, where I want to help people everywhere by sharing practical tools for building stronger families. Okay, you found some inappropriate content on your kid's device and it really kind of made your stomach sink, right? I bet you didn't even know that sort of stuff existed. Inappropriate content, whether it's Siri searches or suggested content or pop-up ads and so much more, is all over the internet. And it's so much easier for your kids to access than you think. You see, the reality is that it's not a matter of if your kid has gotten into inappropriate content, but it's a matter of when. There's a shocking statistic that says the average age that a kid is exposed to these kind of websites is 8 to 11 years old. You see, there has never been a better time for us to tackle this issue, to dig in and figure out how to put some boundaries on our kids' devices. We're in this together, and I'm going to help you step by step to get them all set up. And if you stay tuned till the end, I'm going to share with you some great ideas on how to have the conversation with your kids when you're dealing with these issues. But before I do, if you think that building stronger families is important, could you like this video and consider subscribing? You see, I think that the family unit in our world is more broken than ever, and I want to help people build stronger families. Liking this video and subscribing won't cost a dime, but it'll help out a ton. All right, let's get to the settings. All right, now I'm going to show you how to set up parental controls, or screen time as it's known on Apple devices. You'll go to your settings app and you'll click screen time. So you'll turn on screen time, hit continue, and then you'd actually click "This is my child's iPad." So once that's set up, you're going to go down into and set up all of the settings here. These are some of the things that you can do. First, you can set a downtime, and what this is going to do is going to lock down their iPad after a certain time of night and up until a certain time in the morning. You can set that for whatever you want it to be. You can customize the days to give them more time on the weekends or less time during the week. You can set it to 9, 10 o'clock at night, or 5 o'clock in the afternoon until 6, 7 o'clock, whatever time in the morning you want to. You can set it to block during the downtime, and they will not have any time or won't be able to use their iPad during these hours. Next, you can set up app limits. And what this is going to do is it gives them basically a set of amount of time that they're allowed to use their iPad. I give them for all apps 1 hour a day. So you can set that to 2 or 3 hours a day. You can set it to 1 minute a day, 30 minutes, and you can customize the days to give them more time on the weekends than during the week if you want. You can also set, if you add a limit, you can set just specific categories if you want to. It's going to give them limits on time that they're allowed to spend on their iPad or iPhone. Next is communication limits. What this is going to do is this is going to help you to allow them or not allow them to talk to people. So during your screen time or during the downtime, it lets you know who they're talking to. You can set it to contacts only, or you can set it to contacts with at least contacts in groups with at least one contact in that group, or you can just let them talk with any old person that you want. Now, what that's going to do is if you put it to contacts only, you can actually control their contacts there. If you want to allow contact editing, we can turn that off as well. So you can say, I'm going to manage their contacts. And that way you know who they have in their contacts, and you can control if they're talking to them on their device. Next is, these are some of the apps that are always allowed. So even if it's downtime, even if it's blocked or whatever, you say, these are some things that I want to let them always do. I would always want them to be able to FaceTime me if I'm away and they're home alone and they're even past their time limit. then they can still FaceTime me or message me and those kinds of things. Next, this is where we're going to spend the bulk of our time. I've just got some very basic settings set on here for illustration's sake. You can say turn it on, and now we have all of these restrictions here. You can kind of go through these and see what you'd like to add or not add. You can go into iTunes and the iTunes store, whether you want to let them install apps or not, whether you want to let them delete apps or not, or have any app purchases on the in-app purchases. For a lot of games have in-app purchases, and you can buy colors and cars and gems and tokens and all sorts of things. So you can also set it to always require or don't require a password when they're making these purchases. You can allow them to have certain apps or not. This is where you can take the internet off of their phone. So if you turn that on, then the Safari will be on their iPad. If you turn it off, Safari just goes away from their iPad. So you just wouldn't see Safari down here in the bottom or wherever they have it set. You could turn off mail. You could turn off, maybe they're having problems taking pictures of things they shouldn't be taking pictures of, and you just want to turn off their camera. Or they're doing FaceTime calls that they shouldn't be doing. Turn FaceTime off. You can do that. Or maybe you want to make sure that they don't plug in their car and have their phone as a distraction. Put your phone away, keep it off while you're driving. You can turn CarPlay right off, and you can turn those apps on or off if you want to. Next, this is a big one right here. A lot of your restrictions are right here in content restrictions. You can set it for music so that they can't listen to explicit, only listening to clean. You can set whether they can listen to music videos and whether they can have these kinds of ratings. You can set the ratings for TV shows, and you can make sure that they're not looking at explicit books. And you can set the rating for the apps that are allowed to participate with. And you can also say that we want to limit adult websites. You can always allow certain websites. If it maybe some reason limits it here, you can say, okay, we want to allow those certain websites. Or you can say, I want to never allow this website. Maybe they have a problem with a certain website that's not getting filtered by the adult websites, but you say, I just want to never allow this website, and you just type it in there and add it. You can also make sure that Siri is not going to search the web. If you want to ask Siri to search for words or things that are inappropriate, you can also make sure that you ask Siri not to use explicit language. So if you just said, hey Siri, say curse words, and then she'd say them, well, this is where you can say that they're not allowed to do that. And then there's a lot of restrictions that you can add here for Game Center for the games that they play, whether they can do a screen recording or private messaging or multiplayer and those kinds of things. So that is your content and privacy restrictions. A lot of your stuff ends up right there. And that is the long and the short of setting up parental controls on your iDevice.
So hopefully that helped out a ton. You've got your devices all set up and you're on your way to building a stronger family. So here are some talking points that I think might help you when you're having this conversation with your kids about this whole thing. One thing you might like to encourage your kid with is to tell them, I don't condemn you or think less of you. We all struggle with bad thoughts and bad actions. It is my job as a daddy or mommy to teach you to treat people with respect. You see, websites and content like this doesn't treat men or women with respect. It treats them like objects, not real people. Now in my family, we believe in God, and I like to try to teach my kids how God interacts with us all by the way that I interact with them. So if that's you, you might like to say something like, I want to do my best to help you understand how God interacts with us all. You see, when we mess up, He still loves us and He forgives us, and He can still do great things in our lives. But sometimes there are consequences. We need to face those consequences, learn from them, and do better next time. As a final thought, parental controls aren't foolproof. You can lock down every device in the house, and you can put up blockers and controls on everything. But kids are super smart these days, and they can find a way around it. It's for that reason that you need to have open and often conversations without judgment or condemnation. If we engage our kids instead of ignoring the struggles, we'll build stronger families together. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.